at an all-ages Jodie Foster's Army concert on Laclede's Landing in St. Louis, with a flooding Mississippi River raging down Wharf Street and heaving up onto the steps of the Gateway Arch. Mind melting down on mushrooms, watching a husband and wife street-performing duo sing A Day in the Life while their toddler does laps around you, keeping shockingly good time on a tambourine. It'd be cool if we could see the worlds within the songs inside each other's heads. But I also love how impenetrable it all is. I love that what's mine can't be yours, and we still get to call it ours. Songs are the essence of this condition, and in my opinion, they're the best way I know of to make peace with our lack of a shared consciousness. Creating connection through music is my life's work, truly. Still, what makes my thoughts on other people's songs worth investing in? Well, I'll tell you. If I hadn't written those other books, I'm not sure I'd be able to answer that. But what I've realized through sharing my thoughts and feelings in my books is that there are people out there having very similar thoughts and feelings. The lesson hasn't been that my perspective is so unique, it must be shared so as to enlighten. It's more that I've learned that I'm not alone. I'm not a freak to care about this as much as I do. The main response I get to the things I've written is the miraculous comment, "I feel like I could have written that." It's a joyous discovery to realize that something as ego-driven and interior as a book can return from its visit to all the people it managed to reach in the world with the hopeful and humbling message that you've been understood. You've given someone else the words to name their own experiences. Wonders never cease. A note on Rememories. Did you hear that sound? That's the sound of my mind remembering something that isn't a specific song. As you progress through this book, you're going to encounter some dreamlike passages recounting specific events in my life. I call them Rememories, and I've been writing down some of my most often shared life stories in that style for a few years now. Their inclusion here has a couple of purposes. On one hand, I hope that they'll work as palate cleansers between chapters as we re-emerge from the thick weeds of my internal and endless musing on the weight of songs, as we climb out of the book-size writing language and look around for a little space to think. But I also included them to illustrate how my deep immersion in music has shaped how I really think and remember things in song-sized thoughts and shapes, and how important it is to allow the things we love the most, the things we've contemplated the most thoughtfully and with the most empathy and compassion, to guide our hand when we're stumped. I have very few strongly held beliefs. Among them is the conviction that loving one thing deeply and with ardor is the best way to open yourself up to the world. It's a bit counterintuitive, but I've seen it with my own eyes and felt it with my own heart. My obsession with music from a very early age had the potential to isolate and alienate me from the world at large. But I believe that by indulging that passion and focus, I found the only way into knowing what people live for. Loving one thing completely becomes a love for all things somehow. I've seen it in other people, too. And I've been able to communicate with them solely using the language I've learned from music to talk about, for instance, other art, gardening, coaching college basketball, war correspondence. You get the idea. So I've included these memories sung to the tune swirling around my own mind. They remind me of what I'm getting at and how beautifully intertwined it all becomes over time when you open up and allow the world to pour in both directions at once, inward and outward. 1. Smoke on the Water. I'd love to claim that at the age of 6, hearing the brief passage of Mozart, incorrectly identified as Rachmaninoff, performed in the movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, was the catalyst that set me on my way to a lifetime of music making.